losing elo, whiffing your aim drills, finding yourself in bad positions, missing all your nades, sucking overall? Does this sound like you? Well, don't worry, because I feel the same way. So I asked my friends who are intermediate players, how can I improve? And together, we came up with a 3-step plan, and this is what we came up with. Before we start, any map or link I mentioned in this video will be linked in the description to make it easier for you to adopt this routine. Step 1. Identify your weakness. Now you might be wondering, how can I know what I'm doing wrong? Well, there's a couple of ways to know what you're doing wrong on a game-to-game basis. The first way is to analyze your demos after each game. Now this does take a decent amount of time, however it is the fastest way to improve, as you'll be able to see everything, like if your crosshair placement is accurate for certain angles, and you'll be able to find rounds where you could have done something better. As on CT side, you can find rounds where you could have held the site better, and on T side you can find better ways to use your utility, as well as determine if you're baiting your teammates too much. Now there's a lot more information that you can get from demo analysis, but for the video's sake I'm gonna put a list on screen and you can pause it and find more things to look out for in your demos. The second way, and the way that I prefer, is to use third-party softwares like League, which analyze your games and give you information on how you performed in that game. It provides scores for different categories which can indicate what you need to work on. The main categories that you should be looking at is your aim, your utility, your positioning, and the focus area section on League. They also have a paid service where you can essentially watch the demo of the game, however in a 2D format, which speeds up the process a little bit and still provides a lot of detail on how you can improve in that game. There is one more area that you should be looking out for when trying to identify areas that you need to work on, and that area is movement. You can judge your movement based on your counting strafing accuracy, or if you're frequently missing jumps around the map. Second step, practice the area. Disclaimer, these aim exercises may not work for everyone, as some people dislike deathmatch, some people dislike workshop maps, and some people dislike both. Take Zywo for example, he didn't play deathmatch or community maps improve, he just pugged a lot. And I mean a lot. Now the first exercise for the aim routine is you're going to go on your workshop maps and find a map called Aimbot. It will be linked in the description as I mentioned before. Once you're loading, you're going to see something like this. The first thing you want to do is section off this section, and this section. You do this by shooting these 4 different green rectangles. What you want to do is you want to come into this section, stand in the middle roughly or wherever you want, find your first target, do constant 360s and be constantly moving around. Now you want to do this for 125 kills for the AK, the deagle, your M4 choice, and a USP. Now you want to do 125 kills for each of those guns, and then once you have done that, you want to come back here and you want to try transfer between them to work your spray. You want to spray transfer for 250 kills. Now once you have done this for 250 kills, we then decided to go over onto this map where you can then test your reflexes. This will improve your reaction time in game and your accuracy for moving targets. So what you want to do is you want to come here, find the size that you want. If you're a beginner, I suggest doing 12 to start with, and then slowly making your way down until you get the head. Now once you have got your size adjusted, what you want to do is you want to come over here, turn on linear, rotating, turn the amount to 999 and 0.25 delay. You want to go to the second level and set a timer for 10 minutes, and you want to just hit the targets with as few bullets as possible. Now this improves your reaction time and also helps with your tracking. Now you don't want to do this while just stood still, because if you're doing this stood still, it's fairly easy. What you want to do is you want to be counter strafing as well, and this will also improve your movement. Once the 10 minutes are up, you then want to go to a different map called Wiperec. Now, Wiperec has a wide collection of maps that you should be doing on a regular. Once you load into the map, you'll see something like this. You want to press jump to start. You want to come over to the pre-fire section, click the AK, 100 health, turn off this question mark, headshot on, and pick your weapon of choice. But for this, I'll use an AK. You want to jump on the circle here in the section where you will then be brought into the map and you have to clear each angle effectively. This will get you awareness of the map and provide you with knowledge of where the angles are and what you should be looking out for in your games. Now you should be doing this for every map for at least 1 cycle, a minimum of 1 cycle. You can do more cycles if you want, but you should do this for every single map and go through it. Once you have then completed every single map, you should then go to a community map for a free-for-all server, but not any ordinary free-for-all server. You should be going for multi-config FFA. I suggest warm-up servers, as warm-up servers are the standard that I use and what many other people use as well. Now once you're in here, it's going to cycle through different configs for practicing your aim. You want to do this for 1 full cycle. As I mentioned before, deathmatch is not for everyone. If you prefer doing workshop maps, I suggest doing the 360 kills and the spray transfers again for a second round. Aim routine is more finding something that you can do consistently. For me, I can do both wipe rec and deathmatch, as I enjoy both of them. So that's why I prefer to do both of them, and that's what most of my friends do as well. Now, you can do this as frequently as you want. However, I suggest doing this after you finish playing your games for the day, as doing it before will leave you fatigued and make you play worse in your games and overall ruin your mental, causing you to get tilted faster and losing elo faster. Now for nades. Now, as I mentioned wipe rec before, these maps are very useful for learning the very basic nades that almost every player should know. Once you load into wipe rec and you get to this section again, you want to click whichever nade you want to practice first. I suggest doing smokes first. You want to leave the targets on, jump into here, and what it will do is it will provide you a place to stand where you should line up when standing and where to aim to smoke certain angles. So this one is for a short smoke. You can do this. Now this is a very basic nade. You just gotta type next and it will bring you to the next lineup spot. You need to practice these lineups as often as possible. I suggest doing at least once a week for each map. You want to practice every nade that you know. To do this, all you got to do is go into your console, type map d underscore whatever map you want. All you got to do is practice your nades. Like the first one here was come into this corner, stand here, and this is a simple catwalk smoke. But to learn the more conventional smokes, like the fast window smoke, you want to watch pros, as you'll pick up so many useful nades. For example, I learned this one from watching Flom, which is the fast window smoke. There's also conventional callouts for nades like the lamp flash. Another reason why you should watch pros is that you can learn nade combinations that allow you to use your nades the most effectively. So I learned this from watching Furious. Watched one game of Furious and I learned this nade combo. Come over here, you throw your fast nade here, which smokes the bottom ramp. You stand in this corner, flash once, and then flash twice. Movement. Now, movement is very difficult to master, but it's very easy to improve on. There's three main areas to improve in movement: your counting strafing ability, your jumping ability on maps, and your overall vanilla movement capabilities. I suggest using this workshop map where essentially you have a bunch of doors here with different jumps in different maps. So this jump here is from Mirage, where all you got to do is jump into the window and it will take you to the next section where you can then make the jump for overpass. Another Mirage one where you got to jump into vent room. The second thing that you should do is practice your counter strafing. Now, a good way to do this is coming on aimbot's map and turning on spray walls. Essentially, this is all you want to do is you want to AD. This will improve your accuracy for your counter strafing. If you want to improve your movement overall for all aspects, what you want to do is you want to go into your console and type KZ vanilla. Now, you want to find vanilla servers, vanilla KZ servers like this one where it says GOS vanilla only, and you want to go in here and do the maps that they have. Once you load in, you'll be presented with a map like this, and you just gotta go through the map. Now, they have checkpoints if you mess up like then, or if you don't know where you're going. Positioning. We mentioned the wipe rec pre-fire mode in the aim routine. However, there is more to look out for than just clearing angles. While clearing these angles, you should find spots where you can and cannot be as a CT. For example, on Vertigo, on short push, we have this angle here. Now, as a CT, you now would know not to hold this angle. Instead, hold an off angle that's around here so that they have to adjust their crosshair. Now, another major thing is knowing where you can and cannot be as a CT. And what I mean by this is one and done positions and multiple frag positions. Say you're a CT on Inferno, two of your players have died, you're solo anchor on A now. Now, there's many different angles that you can play, but you got left on site as you know they're pushing up and you have to delay. Now, some people sit in this position here. However, this is a one and done position, as you can most likely get one and get traded. Another way of playing it is if you're on the edge of this corner, you can play around here, get one, fall back and have a little bit cover and potentially get two. Now that position is a multi-frag position, and all I did is take one step behind me. Now, this doesn't mean that all of these positions are terrible. Like, this position here is a one and done position. However, it can be a very powerful position as long as you have a teammate playing cross with you. Now, this leads to another thing. Positioning heavily relies on what your teammates are doing. Another thing is knowing when and when not to push. Let's say I get this position here. I get the advantage and I come back safely and we're in a 4v5 position, but I got a player on banana who has decided now, oh, we've got the man advantage, let's push. And they come through here and they die. What you're essentially doing here is losing the man advantage that you had and shifting the advantage back to the other side. Now, what I recommend is having 2 primary positions that you play for every map. What I mean by this is, as a T-sided player, 2 positions on the map where you can comfortably take. For me, my comfortable positions is second mid on Inferno, where I come in molly and I take either mid or I take apps. Now, that's my 2 T-sided positions. As a CT, I am comfortable playing on banana, as I have a whole util structure that I throw, and I am comfortable playing on balcony. Now, the reason why I say have 2 strong positions is because then you'll get to know what the enemy will do to you in those scenarios. Because if you're playing every position, you're not going to know very specific things that the enemy can do. Like, if you smoke pit, there is a molly lineup to molly this section here. Another thing that you should be aware of is your timings. And what I mean by this is how long it takes you to get to certain angles, how long it takes the enemies to get to certain angles, so you know when not to push, and you can roughly get a gauge of what to do in that round. Watching pros. Now, the best way to improve all aspects of your game is to watch pros, as you can pick up on a lot of minor details that can significantly improve your level of play. Things you should be keeping an eye on is how they move around the map, when they are peeking, / when they aren't, what they call when throwing util, so you can learn the conventional util, and a lot more little things that you can pick up from watching them, like team play, strategy. And something to keep in mind is that every pro plays differently, and because of that, you got to find which pro best fits you and watch them and analyze what they do and pick up on things they do and put them into your game. Now, that leads me to the final step. Step 3, play the game. Almost all of these skills will be improved as you play the game. However, don't mindlessly play the game. You got to actively think what you can do differently. If you find yourself making the same mistakes, or if you keep losing the position multiple times, you have to put things that you've learned from the previous sections into your game of play. And if you consistently do this, you will have an edge of so many players, as a lot of players, even in higher ranks, don't have a consistent aim routine or actively think, what could I have done differently? This will let you climb the ranks a lot faster and reach your goal a lot quicker. So if you enjoyed this video and it helped you realize what you need to do moving forward to improve your game, please leave a like, subscribe,